Welcome to Seijaku-En, the Garden of Tranquility. This garden was established in 1965 in cooperation with the Bamboo Chapter of Ikebana International, who still play an active role today. The Japanese Garden of Tranquility provides a peaceful retreat for strolling and meditation. Approaching the garden, the walkway changes and breaks your stride, causing you to be more attuned to the subtleties that await. First designed by P.T. Tano of Tokyo, Japan, it was later renovated according to a design done by Richie Smith of Memphis and Professor Koichi Kawana of Santa Monica, who designed many of the Japanese gardens and botanic gardens across the country. In the Japanese garden, much emphasis is placed on each plant and object so that one will become aware of their characteristics. Stone, moss, sand, and water, all of which take part in designs, are well kept. You will notice lanterns throughout the Japanese garden. Each lantern represents the 5 elements of the universe: air, water, fire, earth, and ether. At the edge of the pond near the bridge is the snow lantern. The top of this lantern is rounded, never sharp. This allows the snow to sit beautifully on the top. Although it is said the backbone of the Japanese garden are evergreens and rocks, many other various and sundry items may be used. Many common objects include bridges, hedges, gates, basins, stone lanterns, stepping stones, flagstone, bamboo, moss, and water. The most common plants in Japanese gardens include Japanese maples, deciduous magnolia, hollies, junipers, Japanese black and red pines, ginkgo, bamboo, flowering cherry, crabapple, camellias, and Japanese and Siberian irises. The view from the moon-gazing pavilion provides another setting for garden visitors to admire the natural world and to meditate. The pavilion's position on a small hill designates it as a location in which to watch the moonrise. Note the magnificent jade sculptures at one end. In designing a Japanese garden, there are many guidelines to consider. First, the garden may be any size. Many are small, where they are restricted to a narrow passageway or smaller yard. It is, however, easier to design the larger gardens because scale is so very important in the smaller ones. Second, any existing plant material or objects like rocks should be incorporated into the garden's design. Also, the trees in the background should be duplicated in the foreground to lead the eye into the distance. It is important to try and frame distant and distinct views which dominate the landscape. This will lead the eye into the distance. Japanese gardens are designed to be a permanent picture. The garden is recreated after a beautiful natural landscape. The design should be thoroughly planned out, taking notes and sketches from all aspects, both foreground and background. The garden, however, should be the designer's interpretation of a landscape and should not follow too closely with nature. An example of designing natural landscape in a garden might be the recreation of a beautiful coastline with a mountainous background. The island closest to Park Avenue is Crane Island. The bonsai trees with horizontal limbs on each side of the island represent the outstretched wings of the crane. The tree to the right is the long neck and head of the crane. The island closest to the Red Bridge is Tortoise Island. If you look closely, you will see the flipper on the near side, the head jutting out to the right, and the rock slightly flipped up on the left represents the tail. The guardian stone was strategically placed so that it could watch over the entire garden. Trees grown in Japanese gardens are selected for their evergreen foliage, seasonal flowers, or for a beautiful autumn color. Master Japanese gardeners purposely train the trees to appear windblown and twisted, just as they appear along the coastline of Japan. Note the Japanese black pines found throughout the garden. The garden's most notable inhabitant is the koi fish. In Japan, the koi is also known as the warrior's fish and is regarded as a symbol of strength and courage. These carp relatives can be as large as 3 feet long and weigh 25 pounds or more. They are also known for their longevity. Most live to be about 20 years old. However, some have been reported to be 100. The Yatsuhashi or zigzag bridge creates a diagonal movement, giving it a dynamic quality. An old Japanese legend tells of a man who sets out towards the east with a group of men in search of a province in which to settle and arrived in a place called Yatsuhashi. It was a spot where the river branched into 8 channels, each with a bridge, and thus it had become to be called Yatsuhashi, or 8 bridges. The 3 small cherry trees planted near the zigzag bridge are direct descendants of the tidal basin cherry trees in Washington, D.C. They were planted in 2012 to commemorate the centennial celebration of the gift of cherry trees to the U.S. from Japan. The striking half-moon bridge is one of the most recognized landmarks in Memphis. When the semicircular arch combines with its water reflection, a full circle of unity appears. The bridge is modeled after the Seijaku Bridge at Lake Biwa in Kyoto. A number of bamboos are featured throughout the garden, including the dwarf variegated variety that is used as the ground cover by the bridge, arrow bamboo that was once used by shogun warriors, and the towering timber bamboo around our red bridge. Japanese gardens are valued as a place for nurturing the body and the soul. Spend some time relaxing and recharging in this garden as you experience the aesthetic beauty of its combined elements.